The world is gearing up to usher in a whole new year, but for women in Iran fighting for their rights, it's the end of a difficult year. Hoping for change, it seems to be a new year on the horizon with the same old struggles. But they are not giving up on hope. In fact, a report in The Guardian pieces together accounts of women on the ground in Tehran, and their message is strong and clear, that there is no going back. In the report, they narrate why they will not stop flouting the dress code laws. The report talks about how young women in Tehran are increasingly flouting the hijab laws. The Guardian report cites a Tehran-based journalist as saying that they never needed Khamenei's permission, nor do they need it now, talking about how amid the serious issues in the country, like the water shortage crisis and the labor protests, quote unquote, hijab is an easy distraction while they deal with all these serious issues. That's the statement given to The Guardian. And one of the women cited in The Guardian report is quoted as saying, if I wear a hijab now, I feel I'm undoing all the sacrifices so many Iranians have made. There is no going back, quote unquote. Remember, the Mahsa Amini protests marked a major pivotal point in the hijab debate and the struggles. The death of Amini in September 2022, while in custody for allegedly flouting Iran's Islamic dress code, triggered months of protests and proved to be the biggest challenge to the country's clerical leaders in decades. In fact, early this year itself, in the month of March, a fact-finding mission mandated by the United Nations has said that the death of Mahsa Amini in the custody of Iran's morality police was unlawful and caused by violence, and that Iranian women still suffer systematic discrimination. The investigation established that her death was unlawful and caused by physical violence in the custody of the state authorities. In fact, the fact-finding mission found the protests that followed were marked by extrajudicial executions, arbitrary arrests, torture, ill treatment, as well as rape and sexual violence. In December, the country's supreme leader reportedly said the hijab was crucial to preserve the dignity of women and to restrain very strong and dangerous sexual urges. And within days, reportedly, the security forces on the ground intensified the hijab enforcement. And after 2 years of war, silence and shadows, Christmas returning quietly but powerfully to Bethlehem. As a fragile ceasefire in Gaza enters its second month, thousands of worshippers and pilgrims once again gathered in the town where Christian faith began. Take a look.
This is the town where the Christian story begins, where, according to tradition, a child was born in a stable, laid in a manger, because there was no room at the inn. Bethlehem has once again stepped into that story. After 2 years of war and cancelled celebrations, thousands of Palestinians and foreign pilgrims filled Manger Square, cheering, singing, and watching performances under the open sky. Tourism had nearly vanished. Festivals had fallen silent. But this Christmas, the crowd returned, cautious, emotional, and hopeful. At the heart of it all stood the Church of the Nativity, built over the traditional birthplace of Jesus. Inside, worshippers gathered for midnight mass as the choir's voices rose through stone walls that have witnessed centuries of prayer and conflict. In Vatican City, Pope Leo gave a strong message for Bethlehem, where Jesus was born.
To refuse one is to refuse the other. Yet, where there is room for the human person, there is room for God. Even a stable can become more sacred than a temple, and the womb of the Virgin Mary become the Ark of the New Covenant.
A solemn procession emerged into the night, while Palestinian police managed lines outside, checking entry cards. A reminder that even joy here moves through checkpoints.
I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, and we've waited more than my brother and I, more than 2 years to come here. We've both been to Manger Square and the Church of the Nativity, but not on Christmas Eve. So this is a joyous chance for us to celebrate the Mass as Catholics.
I'm originally from Hungary, but I live in London, in the UK. and it's my first time in the Holy Land. I've been planning this trip for a very long time, and this is by far the most special Christmas I've ever had, and I'm just so grateful.
But in a land accustomed to war, even fragile joy matters. From Bethlehem, where hope was once born in a manger, Christmas has found its way back.
US President Donald Trump is drawing attention this Christmas for remarks made during a long-running holiday tradition, which is the NORAD Santa tracking calls with children. What started out as a light-hearted conversation about Santa Claus veered into political territory, prompting reactions online over the president's style, even during festive moments. What exactly did Trump do this time around? Well, as part of a Christmas Eve tradition, now in its 70th year, the US President and the First Lady took part in NORAD's Santa tracking calls with children from across the country. And during one call, a 10-year-old from Oklahoma asked about how Santa's journey is monitored. Trump responded to that by joking that authorities were making sure that Santa was being good, adding that they wanted to ensure a bad Santa was not infiltrating America.
Well, we track Santa all over the world. We want to make sure that Santa is being good. Santa's a very good person. We want to make sure that he's not infiltrated, that we're not infiltrating into our country a bad Santa.
That remark, although it was delivered in a jovial tone, quickly stood out as one that echoed and invited reactions. American presidents have frequently made references to border security, even in a holiday setting. In another exchange, an 8-year-old told the president she hoped Santa Claus would not bring her coal. Trump replied to that by calling it clean, beautiful coal, briefly linking the moment to his long-standing support for the coal industry, before acknowledging the comment was a joke. The NORAD Santa tracking program, which allows children to follow Santa's Christmas Eve journey around the world, is intended as a non-political festive tradition dating back to the Cold War era. But Trump's comments have critics questioning the appropriateness of political messaging during an event aimed at children. Hours later, Trump continued his unconventional holiday messaging by posting a Christmas greeting on social media, wishing a Merry Christmas to supporters while also attacking what he called the radical left. For Trump, politics, it seems, rarely takes a holiday.